Welcome back to Trans Guy Reacts. My name is Nick, and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional. And today I'm going to talk about the WNBA. The games for today were for Friday, May 31st, and it was a lot. The WNBA has this great tradition of, I wouldn't call it great, I'd call it fucking annoying tradition of putting so many games on at the same time, and today was no different. There were 3 games on at the same time, and then one game that came on like about 2 hours after, but still it was in conflict with the other games, so it was really hard to watch all of them, and I was only able to get bits and pieces of each game, flipping back and forth, my screens freezing up, but I did what I could. So let's just get into it. The first game I watched was the Aces versus the Dream. So the Las Vegas Aces versus the Atlanta Dream. Sellout arena for the Dream. Lots of celebrities. It looked like a great time. Tanisha Wright, the coach, was wearing this denim jacket that looked really cool. It had a pocket that had this embroidered gay couple kissing. Loved it. Really interesting to see the Aces today. I was hoping to see Tiffany Hayes, who they just signed. They had let go of Deasia Fair and brought in Tiffany Hayes because they needed someone who was, a proven vet who could relieve Jackie Young from the court, because she's playing like almost 40 minutes a game without having Chelsea Gray out there. So hoping to see Tiffany Hayes, but she wasn't in the game today. Hopefully, in the next game we will see Tiffany. Um, Asia Wilson had this crazy block against Alissa Gray, and it was kind of crazy because that's her former Gamecock teammate, but she does not hold back from her. And this is not the first time that she's blocked her, but it was a crazy block. And then it was like a block party on both sides. They were blocking each other. But it was a pretty low scoring game to start that first quarter. They ended 11-10 for the first quarter. It's really crazy. But then the Aces went on a run in the second quarter, using really heavy defense, and it was 34-28 at halftime. But then things went really different. Well, flip the script. Basketball's a game of runs, and the Dream were fighting in that third quarter. They ended up tying it up, 53-53, and then in the fourth quarter, the Dream just went after it. They were playing really great defense. They got the lead. There was at one point Aerial Powers and Jackie Young got into it, and it's really clear from the back and forth that Powers probably started it, but whatever. She did not seem like she seemed a little unhinged, to be honest. She was like bobbing her head and talking, and she was like super mad. And literally, Jackie Young was like saying a few things, but kind of like smirking at her and kind of like laughing at her, which I thought was pretty funny because Ariel seemed very upset, and Jackie was just like, I don't care." Which I love, but I love to see some drama, some passion. It's fun, um, but game went on, and the there was a lot of cheering for Asia Wilson. Apparently, there was a lot of Gamecocks fans in the audience. It's not too far, Atlanta's not too far from South Carolina, and a lot of people made the drive. There's another point where Tanisha Wright got really fired up over a no call. She thought that Plum committed a foul and didn't get the call, but she came out on the floor and she was in those refs' ears, and I was like, ooh, she can get a text, she can calm down, but it was fine. The Dream were able to hold off the Aces, despite them trading leads back and forth throughout the fourth, but the Aces fouled a lot during that game, and it ended 74-78, pretty close. In the post-game interview, Cheyenne Parker Tyus did talk about, she commented about how people were cheering a lot for Asia, and that kind of motivated them to like bust their butt. And I thought that was pretty funny. At the end of this, the box score for Asia Wilson was 28 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks. Jackie Young, 15.6 rebounds. Kelsey Plum, 19.6 assists. Alicia Clark, only 7 points, but she did have 8 rebounds, and the rest of the team didn't really contribute that much, to be honest. And Ann McCannon did not play. For the Dream, Alicia Gray had 24 points. Ryan Howard had 16 points. Cheyenne Parker Tyus, Tina Charles, Haley Jones, Aerial Powers, and Crystal Dangerfield all had either 7 or 8 points, and about like anywhere between 5 to 8 rebounds for some of them. But Letitia Mehier and Lorelai Kabaj did not play. But I would say from that, the bench and the starters for the Dream had an equal amount of contribution to the score, as opposed to the Aces, where it was completely the starters. So how are they going to maintain that? I don't know. It was just like just a much evener distribution for the Dream, and yeah, the Aces do need a little help. The next game was Dallas Wings versus the Connecticut Sun. The Sun are undefeated going into this game. It was a very slow start for the Sun, and I have to say the officiating seemed very sus against the Sun in the beginning. The refs were letting players fall over the ground. It was pretty dangerous. They were calling things out of bounds that weren't. It was a weird officiating in the beginning of the game. At halftime, it was 34-40. The Sun were up, so the Sun were able to do what they do. They were dominating, and they were able to maintain that lead into the fourth, but it was close. They were trading buckets with 2 minutes left, so it was getting really dicey in there. But Arike Gumbawale hit a three that goes 95% in, and then it pops right out. Oh, so tough. And then Alissa Thomas, does this crazy block that pretty much saved the game. And then Sevi Usun can't get the ball to fall. And then Taisha Harris goes to the free throw line, hits one of two, and then they were able to hold them off for the last few seconds, and it was 72-74. 72-74 at the final. Suns stay undefeated, but that was a wild game, and it was a lot of fun to watch for sure. For the Wings, Maddie Segrist had 17 points. Oh my gosh, she's a sophomore basically, second year in the league, and she is so consistent, putting up great numbers. Tierra McCowan had 10.7 rebounds. Arike Gumbawale had 21.7 assists. Kalani Brown had 10 points. And then for them, Jalen Brown, Natasha Howard, and Satu Sabali are all out because of injury. For the Sun, Dewana Bonner had 12 points. Alissa Thomas had 15 points, 14 assists, and 9 rebounds. Almost had a triple-double. Wow. Brianna Jones had 22 points. Dejanay Carrington had 9 points. And Queen Egbo didn't play in this game. For the third game, it was the Washington Mystics versus the New York Liberty. To be honest, I did not think that the Mystics were going to win this game just because they have not been playing that well. They were at the Barclays Center, and it was lit. There was so much support for the New York Liberty. It was really full in there, and it was very loud. Liberty had great defense from the start, and they had pretty good offense as well. Against the Mystics in that first quarter, it was 17-32, but the Mystics were able to redeem themselves in the second. It made it a pretty close game. At halftime, it was 45-49. So I was like, oh my God, look at the Mystics playing some real ball. Look at this. But the Mystics, and they were holding their own and keeping it close actually into the third and fourth quarter. So the Mystics were in there. They were totally able to win this game. But the Liberty started pulling away in the last 2 minutes of that game, and it was kind of funny to see Eric Thibault, the coach for the Mystics. He was his face and his reactions are hilarious. He's very over the top, and when he gets mad, it's pretty funny. And also, he is the epitome of the nepo baby. He is such a nepo baby, but whatever. Nepotism, crazy. The Liberty were able to hold on to this game, and they won 90-79. And the Mystics continue on their losing record. I think they're 0-7, something like that. And the Liberty are 6-2. For the Mystics, Shakira Austin had 12 points. Ariel Atkins had 15.7 rebounds. Mahisha Hines-Allen had 11.7 rebounds. Jade Melbourne had 11 points. And Emily Inksler did not play. For the Liberty, Kayla Thornton had 20 points. Brianna Stewart had 18 points, 15 rebounds, double queen. John Cole Jones had 16 points, 10 rebounds, double queen. Sabrina Ionescu had 24 points. And unfortunately, Courtney Vandersloot was either injured or didn't play. I didn't hear because I came into the gate off and on, so I'm not sure. The last game of the night was the Phoenix Mercury versus the Minnesota Lynx. Sellout crowd at the Target Center, and the Lynx were dominating for the first 2 quarters. They were just killing the Mercury. It was really cool at the halftime show. They had native dancers because it was the Native American Heritage Night. So it was really cool to see. It was mostly young people doing the performance, so I love that. At the half, it was 31-55, so the Lynx were just dominating. And they were able to maintain that control the entire game, and it was great because it was Native American Heritage Night. Alissa Pili was in the game, and she was getting a lot of time on the floor, and she was putting up some great points, some crazy points, actually. The bench for the last 5 minutes of that game, both Mercury and the Lynx just had the bench on the floor playing because the Lynx were up so much. It was crazy. And Alissa Pili was going off. She was shooting great. She was hitting all of her three-pointers. The game ended 71-95. The bench for the Lynx scored 50 points, and the Mercury had a significant amount of turnovers. They had 16 turnovers compared to the Lynx that had 6. Um, the breakdown for the Mercury was Clea Copper had 21 points. She's always doing 20 plus points. Sophie Cunningham had 13 points. Diana Taurasi had 14 points. Natasha Mack had 8 points, but she had 10 rebounds. And Rebecca Allen and Brittany Griner didn't play because they were injured. For the Lynx, Nafisa Collier had 14 points, 11 rebounds, double-double. Courtney Williams had 11 points. Cecilia Salden-Lasini had 12 points. Dorka Juhas had 13 points. And then Alissa Pili, can you freaking believe this, had 20 points. She was 4 for 4 from 3. She had 77% field goal percentage. 77%. And she did this all in 15 minutes. Crazy. Alissa Pili. That she is her. And anyway, they were able to do this all without Diamond Miller, who is injured right now. So wonderful game, wonderful breakdown of the evening for me. I had a fantastic time watching it, even though it was all kind of jumbled and on at the same time. We are in the age of such great basketball, but I wish I could watch it all. It's really tiring actually trying to get all of this in, but I'm trying the best I can. If you enjoy this content that I'm making, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one, possibly tomorrow, hopefully. All right, have a good night, and I'll see y'all. Bye.